Philip Rivers is coming out of retirement to play for the Indianapolis Colts. If you said you saw this coming, you're lying. There may have been some rumors, faint rumors, but this week, if you said, yeah, I knew Philip Rivers was going to come back and save the Colts season, yeah, you were lying. They were in full panic mode like a week ago. Maybe they should still be in full panic mode, but we'll get into that. I guess what I'm marveling at this is how rare this is. I think Philip Rivers did the thing that Brett Favre always said he wanted to do. Like I remember Brett Favre retired, and I think about like 2010, and like every year after, it's like, oh well, Brett Favre's going to come back. He's going to do the thing. Like those rumors literally lasted until like 2020, and I think my man was like in his 50s by then. So these rumors have been going on for those rumors were going on for a while. Rivers, I heard like some talk, like maybe like a year after he retired, and then I didn't hear anything after that. He was coaching his son's football team in Alabama, and then just randomly came back. So he actually did what Brett Favre said he was going to do for the longest time. So uh, credit to that. I think one thing that's forgotten about Philip Rivers is that man is a tough, and I know we don't usually swear on here, but we'll just say SOB. Like that man, he played an AFC championship game on a torn ACL versus the Patriots back in the 2000s. Like that man is tough. And then so yeah, I just loved the way he played. I wish the Chargers were still in San Diego, so it sort of reminds me of that era, but when he played there. But anyways, so yeah, very interesting stuff with him coming back. We'll get more to the technical side of like, could they make the playoffs? How good will he do in a little bit? But just by the numbers really quick, before I throw it to Jake, um, he's 44 years old. He was born in 1981. Riley Leonard, who was the backup quarterback for the Colts, who just got injured last weekend, he was born in September 2002. Philip Rivers' oldest kid was born in July 2002. So his oldest kid is older than one of the quarterbacks of the Indianapolis Colts, which is insane. And then also Philip Rivers is older than 12 NFL head coaches right now, including his own coach Shane Steichen. So yeah, he is an old man for sure. So just that's just my thoughts on that. Again, we'll get into how good we think he's going to do. But Jake, what you have to say on Philip Rivers coming back?
Yeah, just a little quick note on that. I read earlier this week that Riley Leonard was clearly returned back to full game participant. He was um he was full-time participant in practice this week, so he'll be backing up Phillip Rivers in his first Indianapolis Colts game. But heading to Phillip Rivers, who saw this? Who saw that Phillip Rivers was coming out of retirement? I would agree with you, Evan. You'd be lying if you say Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement. But I mean, he's been a decent quarterback. When he was quarterbacking before, obviously decent quarterback for the Chargers. Um, decent call. I forget what team he went to after that, but he's been a decent quarterback his entire career, and it'll be exciting to see what he accomplished for the Colts here. But
Just
quick
for
little
just
note
for our viewers,
on
really
that.
quick on that, Jake. He was with the Colts 1 year after the Chargers. And I think that's why he went back because I guess he's still sort of like under contract. I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, he went back to the Colts. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and I was gonna say a quick little note on that too. They obviously go out and sign Phillip Rivers, but you know, what's going on with Anthony Richardson? Why can't Anthony Richardson play quarterback for the Colts? I feel like everyone has kind of forgotten about him a little bit because I mean, I don't know if the Colts really saw a future in him. What do you think about that?
I don't think he should have been ever drafted that high. Um, I thought people would have learned after Mitchell Trubisky that you don't draft a quarterback who plays like 8 games in college, but they didn't learn their lesson with Richardson. He was drafted mainly because he looked like a NFL quarterback, like that huge body, super strong arm. He shouldn't. It's not his fault. He should have never been drafted that high. Although his attitude problems and stuff like that are his fault. But I guess he's injured right now, so that's taking away from time from that. But yeah, this was his chance to get back, and instead it's going to a 44-year-old quarterback. So it's sort of embarrassing for Anthony Richardson,
Yeah.
but sort of parked for the course from him, unfortunately. Yeah.
So like Jake mentioned, well, let me just start with what Evan mentioned. I mean, he is 44. He's older than I think Evan said 12 active head coaches, including his own. That's just crazy. You know, the whole daughter backup quarterback thing. That's insane. Jake, but Jake mentioned Anthony Richardson. What's going on with him? Um, I know in at Florida, he had a little bit of problem maybe throwing the football at times. Do the Colts just not think that, translates well to the NFL? Are they trying to get him to switch positions? Um, so Philip Rivers actually, so he's 44 years old, and I know that he has experience, but he's getting thrown into the fire. Let me just read out the final four games that the Colts have. They play in Seattle this weekend. And this is all assuming he's a starter for the rest of the season, which I mean, never assume anything. I think you guys get the hint there. They play the 49ers next Monday night on the 22nd. They play Jacksonville on the 28th, and then Houston on either the 3rd or the 4th of January. So you're getting thrown into the fire right here. Seattle, 10-win team. San Francisco, 9-win team. Jacksonville, 9-win team. Houston, 8-win team. Final two games against Jacksonville and Houston are going to be crucial for the division. If this race turns out the way we think it's going to. Um, but yeah, that's just what really sticks out to me.
So yeah, and Jordan, brought us right to this. Could they make the playoffs? And I'm gonna, I've seen it on the internet, and that's just meme culture. I mean, this is a big event. I understand memes are gonna come out of that, and there's been some pretty good memes about Philip Rivers. But to the actual doubters, like I was listening to Nick Wright, I believe on Fox Sports, and he's like, "Stop it! He's gonna get hurt. Philip Rivers is gonna die on the field." And he didn't literally say that, but that's what it sounded like he was saying. And it's like, dude, he's 44. He's not 70. And yes, a lot of this does depend on the Colts offensive line. I haven't watched enough Colts to know how well their offensive line is. So yes, if a 44-year-old Philip Rivers takes a lot of hits, it could get ugly pretty quick. Tom Brady played that long because the Patriots kept him super clean and Tampa kept him super clean back there. A lot of it does depend on that, but he's 44. He can still throw the football. Like it wasn't that far removed. They brought him in for a workout. The Colts are a serious franchise. I'm sure they would have turned him down, if he couldn't play. Yeah, I think he can. So, like Jordan was saying, the schedule is very tough. That Seattle game, that might be a little bit rough. Seattle is playing super hot right now. We talked about that in our NFL topic. Jordan, you were gonna say something?
And as of right now, the Colts are sitting outside the playoffs looking in. I just wanted
Sitting
to add that
outside.
out there. So we got to remember that.
So they're not the seventh seed anymore? I thought for the moment they were still the seven.
Houston,
They're not in.
Houston is for right now.
Got it, because Houston won on Sunday Night Football. Okay, so they are looking on the outside looking in. So that Seahawks game might be a little rough this weekend. I'm gonna preempt that. Seattle is playing very well. It's in Seattle, so people may be coming to conclusions after that. However, it starts to get a little more manageable after that. You have the 49ers coming to Indy. 49ers are really good. That's a winnable game. And then I think it gets even more winnable in the last two. Jacksonville and Texans are a very good team. You play Jacksonville at home and then at Houston to end the season. Very good teams. Could the Colts beat them? I think absolutely so. So I'm not sitting here saying how Philip Rivers is going to look at 44. He could look like an old man, but I would say just to write him off at right away is ridiculous. I think this man is like a borderline Hall of Famer. And I trust the Colts judgment to put him in there. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm not even going to bother making a prediction, but could they make the playoffs? Absolutely. I think so.
And I like how the fact that you brought up the Hall of Fame point. This man is a Hall of Fame quarterback, but it's funny if he takes a snap on Sunday, he would add 5 years that he has to wait to get into the Hall of Fame. So let's just say that he retires again for good after this season. He would have to wait till he's 49 years old to get in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy. But yeah, I definitely think they could make the playoffs. Philip Rivers has the experience. I don't see why he can't. I mean, yes, he's 44 years old, but he feels like his body's good enough. I'm not sure if the Colts contacted him or he contacted the Colts. But even the willingness to do it, tells you that he thinks his body is good enough to play football. He knows how physically demanding this game is.